I think this is, the 710 Freeway project is relevant to this audience because, as you know, with any project that you guys take on, it always comes down to the money, whether it's from developers or from working with politicians. And this particular project is what's being proposed, and the proponents at Metro are really saying is we want to do this freeway tunnel, whether it's single or double, it doesn't much matter. In the end, it's just really going to suck so many tax resources away from so many other projects that I'm concerned that will also draw cash away from the types of efforts that you plan on doing, because the burden is going to be on LA County taxpayers. So I strongly urge you to consider the letter that you're going to draft in response to the DEIR, and one of our next speakers that's lined up is planning on providing resources where you can find more information. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments, Mr. Miller. Now we do have Trish Gossett, followed by Joe Cano.
Hi, I'm Trish Gossett. I live here in Highland Park. I, along with many other people in the lower Arroyo Seco, have, are working to try to get the tunnel off of the list of EIR alternatives for the 710. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I'm not a public speaker. But what I wanted to just inform you of is that when you are making your comments to the DEIR, to take into consideration that the Arroyo Seco has a very fragile balance of nature that we need to consider. The wildlife there has been established for hundreds of years, and the impacts could really be great to our wildlife community there. First of all, the air quality that will happen as a result of the 24/7 excavation and construction of this tunnel and its proximity to the arroyo. The air quality will, there's going to be altogether 10 million cubic yards of dirt that will be excavated and moved to Irwindale. This will be a 24/7 hour process. We expect that the air quality will be, compromised. And if it's going to compromise us, I'm sure the wildlife would be negatively impacted by that too. The construction area will also be lit up 24/7. Don't know what kind of challenges that could present to birds and native species in the arroyo. And so just wanted to also bring attention to the fact that sinkholes are a regular occurrence in tunnel excavations. And, sinkholes mean that you've hit like an aquifer. And challenging the delicacy of that balance in the arroyo with regards to aquifers could also be very troubling to the wildlife. And so thank you very much for all the work you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gossett. And our next speaker is Joe Cano, followed by Joanne Knuckles.
I would like to thank this respected board for allowing us to speak. As a resident of El Sereno, first I would like to thank this group for partnering with CD14 Councilman Jose Huizar, and your work is very well appreciated that you've done for Elephant Hill and some of our other nature set-asides. Following up to what Ms. Gossett had mentioned, Metro has issued a massive report, 26,500 and something pages, probably in an effort to dissuade the public from actually participating and having a profound knowledge of the impacts of this tunnel project. I would kindly request this body to review the environmental impacts section of the draft EIR. And upon preliminary review, there appears to be no consideration of the amount of water usage that it will be required to build a tunnel. You have to create slurry to be able to break down the different consistency of underground earth. And in this time of declared drought by the governor, I think Metro has not even considered or offered to show the public the amount of water usage that they will use for this project. And I think it will have a very negative impact on any project or anything that this body is involved with. It will negatively impact El Sereno and basically all the San Gabriel Valley. So the good work that you do may be negatively impacted by the water usage that may be required to build a mega project of this manner. I'd like to thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker, Jan Nichols, is followed by Tina Miller.
Hi, my name is Joanne Knuckles. I'm a resident of South Pasadena and representing the No 710 Action Committee. I just want to briefly thank you for coming to our neighborhood. South Pasadena, along Highland Park and Pasadena, El Sereno, the Arroyo Seco goes through our communities, definitely be negatively impacted by 710. I'd like to leave you with this map that shows you where the tunnel route actually is. And on the back is our card, No 710 Action Committee, no710.com. There's a lot of information about the project, and we thank you for considering a really strong comment letter about the impacts, negative impacts. Thank you.
Thank you. And as we mentioned, Ms. Miller, this will be coming in a future agenda.
Okay, very good. Also speaking about the SF-710 tunnel, as a resident of Gavanza, which is the northern section of Highland Park in Los Angeles, I worked for 17 years in my community to get the historic preservation overlay zone recorded, to protect our community from many demolitions from development and a possible SF-710 route, which happened several years ago. And that work ended up being fruitful work, important work for the people that live there, for underserved communities like ours. Building the SF-710 tunnel would destroy areas of historic communities, starting with El Sereno, which has a proposed HPOD at Berkshire Street. South Pasadena, and Northeast Los Angeles have an array of historic architecture that represent 19th and 20th century communities and neighborhoods that remain intact today. These communities are threatened on many levels by the adverse environmental impact that they would succumb to if this tunnel is built. Our mountains, aquifers, natural habitat, hiking trails, quality of life as we know it would essentially be altered forever. Many LA County residents look to the Conservancy for guidance and for the protection of its resources. To imagine the effects of more traffic cutting through our communities, including the carbon monoxide emissions and harmful particulates that the public continues to learn more and more about through published studies and reports. What kind of a world will we be living in, will we be left with, if we are only judged by how well we move people and goods and we lose our natural resources and clean air and water for the sake of that? We continue to see increases in respiratory diseases in our children, as well as a study from UCLA that cites children living near freeways are more susceptible to autism. In short, I envision a future here in Southern California and throughout the world that puts quality of life first and foremost. Our communities deserve better. Our neighborhoods deserve better. They deserve better solutions in transportation, light rail, clean buses, electric rail. These are some of the solutions that will support equality of life for all of us. I would like to ask the Santa Monica Conservancy to submit a letter to the SF-710 draft EIR and speak about the consequences of completing a huge project like the SR 710 tunnels that would have on our 19th and 20th century homes, landscape, aquifers that are along the proposed route. This includes Northeast Los Angeles historic core neighborhoods that would succumb to much more intense traffic, dirty air, and pollution during construction as well as post-construction with the opening of the tunnels. On areas and locales that are well known for their inherent beauty, both in natural landscape and as well as the historic fabric that so needs our protection. By taking action now, this board will ensure a healthier and more livable world that shows that we can be the great stewards of our land like John Muir was, and give next generation that torch to protect our future and next. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your efforts towards conservation.